Morning. Good morning. I see some people going on. I see David. I see my friend Claire. Good morning. James Patrick Riley. What's going on, Miss Maxwell? Good morning. You know, I like to, yeah, sunshine is right. That sun is right in my face. But it beats a cloudy day, right? Beats a poke in the eye. So good morning. Happy Thursday. And how y'all doing? Man, that sun is shining bright, boy. Woo! You know, like I said, I do some of these videos sometimes because it helps me to stay in a good frame of mind as I'm dealing with traffic in the DMV. You know, but I was thinking about something. I'll make this quick. We'll try to make it quick. It's, you know, I remember like when my niece was born. I was there when she was born, and she's 15 now, which is crazy. Blows my mind that she's 15 now. But yeah, Uncle Chris, Godfather. Remember, I was there when she was born, and all I could think was potential. That's what I see when I see kids, is potential. You know, you just don't know what's gonna come. What are they gonna do? What are they gonna become? Who are they gonna become? You know, it's just like I look at kids and I see potential. You know, and it's just fascinating to kind of let your mind just go like, you know, what can happen. I mean, really, the prospects are relatively limitless. I mean, you know, they can do and grow and become virtually anything. So that's what I look at when I look at kids. And I actually, you know, it's cool to have some experiences where you see seeds that you sown start to come up and blossom. We had an experience last night where, you know, my wife and I have done something, and you know, we sowed some good seeds, and really we sowed those seeds because that's what we're called to do. And I mean, we didn't give a whole lot of thought to, you know, what was going to be the fruit. Of course, we expect fruit from those seeds that we sow. You know, we expect a harvest, but we didn't give a whole lot of thought to what that, you know, to the harvest. But what's really cool is that some seeds that we sowed a few months back, you know, we've been seeing the fruits of that. I mean, we had somebody say, hey, you know, come up to us and say, hey, I just want to let you and Tanya know that because of what you said, what you did, what you taught, you know, what you've exemplified, I took that, I heard you, I listened, I took notes, I took that, and I went and I grew with it, and I got harvest in my life because of what I got from you. And that's the coolest feeling, you know. And I think about that, you know, for a lot of people, there's not a whole lot of areas in your life where you really actually have opportunity to do that. I mean, to be quite frankly, in my job, in my professional career, that's not really something that has ever happened. In all my years of working, decades now, it's never been really something where I've seen that sort of harvest. I had another thing come up the other day with my my godson, and I always have to remember to be mindful, you know, because he's 12, of what I say to him. I have to bring my A game when I talk to him because he really listens. In some ways, it's almost kind of scary. It's humbling. It's flattering. Well, it's not flattering. It's humbling, but it's kind of scary. Like, man, you know what? This kid looks up to me. He listens to me. He values what I have to say, and if I suggest that he does something, he's going to do it. So like he and I were talking, he loves basketball. He used to play football, was really great at football. Once again, he's a straight A student. like wins math and science awards and everything like that. But he's also a talented athlete and just a great all-around kid. But like, he was just, we were talking about, he was telling me about how he gets tired later on and so on and so forth, when he's playing sports. And I was like, well, we need to kind of work on your conditioning, which he gets up first thing in the morning. He's up way before I am. He gets up at like 5 o'clock in the morning. He's 12, gets up at 5 in the morning to go work out. And one of the things, before he goes to school, and then he has basketball practice and, excuse me, and all that after school, and he has to do his homework and do his chores and so on and so forth. Just really, man, I'm just impressed with him all the time. But, I was talking to him about things that he can do and add in his diet, kind of telling him about what top performing athletes do to fuel their body, because just like, a car, right? I mean, a race car does not use the same fuel that you put in a Honda, you don't put Honda Civic, you don't put the fuel in a Honda Civic that you put in a Formula One race car. You just don't, it's like it's not even going to work. So I was telling him about that, and I sent him a few all that. Now I think it was Sunday when I was talking about that. And so when I talked to him last night, he was like, yeah, Uncle Chris, I asked Mom to get, because I told him, hey, you're dealing with some cramps and fatigue and all this. So I suggested, hey, bananas. You might want to start eating banana. I mean, I asked him about what his diet was, and I said, add banana, and probably you might want to add like peanut butter or whatever like that, some healthy fats, some proteins, because he's 12 and he's 5'10" at 12 years old, so he's growing fast. So we kind of talked about that. I sent him some links, and that was like Sunday. And just talking to him last night, and he was telling me how, yeah, Uncle Chris, I already started making myself a peanut butter sandwich, and Mom's getting me, some bananas, and I'm increasing my calories. And I said, man, that's pretty cool just to see. He's like, yeah, he said, I should be feeling better soon with my workouts. And it's one of those things that you don't get rarely ever for most people do you get a chance to see the seeds that you've sown come up. And, here's the thing. When you look at an apple, like I talk about my niece and kids when I see born always see potential. You can cut open an apple and you can count the number of seeds, right? And you can look at an ear of corn and you can count the number of kernels, right? I think an apple typically has, 3 to 5 seeds or something like that. An ear of corn typically has, I think, 400 to 500 kernels. And that's great. You can count that. But here's the question. Can you count the number of apples in a seed? Can you count the number of apple trees in a seed? Can you count the number of ears of corn or the stalks of corn in one ear of corn? No, you can't. And, God says don't concern yourself with that. He just says that you're supposed to sow those seeds. That some of those seeds, and I'll tell you, yes, we have sown seeds in the hopes that some of those seeds would bloom and that there'd be a harvest. And quite frankly, some of those seeds have fallen on infertile ground. And some of those seeds have had, the animals come and eat them. Some of those seeds didn't take deep enough root, and so they were scorched by the sun or washed away or blown away by the wind. But, it's just fascinating just as when you read in the Bible and you read stuff like Proverbs and you study those things. And when God says you're just supposed to sow seeds and don't worry about what the harvest will be. And it's really, dude, this guy's just really just going to bogart. He just thinks, I'm laughing because this guy just thinks he's going to bogart his way in. Just didn't want to wait. And wow, you got to love DC traffic. But anyway, but yeah, when you sow seeds, you're not supposed to worry about when they will come up, if they'll come up, because there's a germination process and only God can control that, right? Those are the things that happen. Those are the mysteries that only He knows, because you bury it. And of course you fertilize it, you water it and so on and so forth, and you give it time. And God's the only one who knows exactly what goes on inside that. But it is, and I think about it, I know I don't have a desire to be a farmer, But I do think it's important, especially in this high-tech age that we live in, for you to study agriculture and the philosophy of, there's a reason why the Bible talks, and people say, oh, well, the Bible's not relevant anymore because, everything it talks about is in agrarian terms, and it's in terms of, fishermen and farmers and so on and so forth. And there's so few people who are fishermen, farmers, and shepherds and so on and so forth. And I'm like, that tells me right there that you don't know how to think. When you say that, that tells me you don't know how to think. Slow down, stop being ahead of yourself, stop thinking you know so much, and understand that human nature and human behavior has not, nor will it ever change. When you deal in the real world, you understand not how you want the world to be, but how the world actually is, how human nature actually is. You start realizing that, hey, how you doing, James? You start realizing that human nature doesn't change, and that things, well, even though we might have differences in technology, and I see people up ahead walking around, head down in their phones, and of course I'm doing this video from my phone, you just realize that things don't change, and they will continue to be like that to the end of days. So when you hear about principles, study them. Or when you have the opportunity to study principles, get deep into them. Understand that you sow seeds and that there will be a harvest. Maybe not necessarily when you think there will be. And here's the thing. Even when you sow negative seeds, there's a harvest. You can't count it right up front. You can't count the harvest. You have no idea what the harvest will be. But there will be a harvest for your seeds, the good seeds and the bad seeds. Sometimes it happens much further down the road, but there will be a harvest. So anyway, it's just kind of something I wanted to run with and kind of talk about. It had me thinking this morning, but I got to run. You guys enjoy the day. I hope I gave you something to think about. Take care. God bless.